A while back I had asked you guys to post your questions regarding my hair and color, and this video is going to answer some of those questions. If you'd like to see the coloring process in depth, click the following video link.
So basically what we're going to do today is we're going to make your overall hair color lighter, keeping the roots a little bit deeper and underneath a little bit darker, then going in and adding a lot of highlights in the kind of the top and front area, making it warmer, and maybe even just adding a few like brighter ones just so it pops a little bit more.
Yeah. So a lot of you guys have wanted to know more about my color, so this video is going to address many of the questions that you guys have asked. And just a disclaimer, this pink color is definitely, it's not a permanent color. It's a hair chalk by a hair artist. The color is pink. You just draw the color on your hair with the chalk, and I would pick it up. It's kind of messy. This is what it looks like. And you draw it on your hair. If you want it to have a more intense color, then you can try doing it on damp hair, which I might try with a wash and go in the future. And it says the colors work best on lighter colored hair. For darker hair colors, increase the application of chalk to create the desired effect. When you've had enough of your new color, simply wash the chalk out. It may take 2 to 3 washes to remove all the color. So I'll let you guys know how it goes. Now back to my regular color questions. How did the color change the texture of your hair, and did it dry out your hair? Also, what extra steps do you take after you colored your hair to moisturize your hair? So when I first colored my hair, a lot of people made comments that they thought that my hair texture had changed and had become curlier, and I actually think that I had more curls when my hair was black, but I did also have a little bit of heat damage. So when I got my hair colored, I also got it cut. So I think that just cut off the looser textured curls that I did have before. So it does look like I have a different texture, but I think it's just because I cut off the heat damage. I didn't find that my hair is any more dry than it usually is. During the winter, my hair usually gets more dry, so I just take extra steps of adding moisturizers and oils to my hair to make sure that my hair is always moisturized. But these are the same steps that I took when I had black hair, so I haven't really changed anything. When they dyed your hair this color, did they bleach it first? If you have black hair, there's no way to put color on black hair without lightening it first. And to lighten your hair first, you have to use some type of bleach. What type of styler did you use to lighten your hair? I got my hair professionally colored at Hair Rules in New York City. My colorist's name was Amy, and I had Anthony Dickey cut my hair, which gave me this lovely shape. What type of lightener did you use for the base color?
The color line we use here is called Goldwell, and we just use something to make you a little bit a lighter, warmer brown.
And that wasn't bleached, correct?
No.
Is bleach is used for highlights then?
It's just such a harsh word. So we like to say lightener.
Oh, okay.
And yes, it is used because color cannot lift color. So a lightener has to be used in order to achieve the color that you were looking for.
Okay. If you do have issues with your curls loosening or damaging your hair from coloring, I guess you could do more deep conditioning. That would probably help strengthen your hair, but if your hair is really damaged and you've dyed your hair multiple times, I just suggest cutting off the colored hair and starting over. What are some good products for colored hair? I don't use any specific products that are for colored hair. I use all the same products that I used before I colored my hair. So I co-wash with conditioner, I shampoo about once a month. I always deep condition every time I wash my hair. I do a leave-in conditioner afterwards, and I usually use some type of oil. Argan oil is one of my favorite because it's light and it doesn't weigh down my hair, and it also leaves my hair very soft. And then after that, depending on what style I'm doing, I usually add Eco Styler gel for my wash and goes or some other type of styler to set my hair, to twist out or braid out. Would you recommend self-dyeing or going to a professional? How do you go about straightening your hair while having color-treated hair? I would definitely recommend going to a professional because I wouldn't want you to risk messing up your hair doing it on your own. How do I go about straightening my hair after coloring it? I straighten my hair in December. I got my hair straightened at the Beautiful Salon in Chicago, and I have a video for that, so I can include that link to that in this video as well, so you can see the steps that they took to straighten my hair. It's pretty much, they did the same thing they would have done if I didn't have color treated hair. How did you prevent or manage dryness and any texture changes? I didn't notice any texture changes. Now my hair is more uniform now that I cut off about, I think he cut off at least 4 inches. And so the front I had really loose curls, so he cut off maybe 6 inches in the front. Maybe not that much. And I think like in October my hair was like this long where my finger is, and I think before it was like down there. So he cut off about this much in the front. And so that's where I had the looser curls that were about as loose as this. And now I have tighter curls in the front, so I didn't experience any negative texture change. The only texture change I experienced was cutting off the heat-damaged hair, which made my hair lighter and curlier. The best technique for putting highlights in natural hair. Like I said, I'll include the link to that video, and I'll actually show the clip of how she did the highlights. When I got my hair colored, they did a single process, dark brown all over my head, and then afterwards they blow dried my hair, flat ironed it, I got a trim, and then they went back in and did a half a head of highlights. And the way that she did my highlights is she would take a section, take a rat tail comb, back comb my hair on both sides, and then put the highlight on just this part, not the back comb part. That way you don't see it. Well, it's kind of hard to see here. Let me see this girl. That way there's not a definite line between the blonde and the dark brown. Like how you can see on my roots, there's a definite line between the black hair color and the brown hair color. But for the highlights, it's a gradual transition because she backcombed my hair before she applied the highlights. Someone commented that going blonde depends on your hair texture. If you're kinky, coarser type, I'd pray on it. If you have Tatiana Ali / Chili's hair, your hair is a lot stronger and may be able to withstand color. I don't think that's necessarily true because I have a friend who has a looser curl pattern than me, and she just put a rinse in her hair and it started breaking off, and my hair is a lot coarser and kinkier than hers, and I put color in my hair and I haven't had any issues so far. So it's different for everyone. I wouldn't just automatically assume what works for one person is going to work for you because there's a lot of different factors that go into different people's hair types. Like, there could be 2 people with type 4C hair. One person can have fine hair, and one person can have coarse hair, which means thick strands. Like, their strands are a lot thicker, so their hair feels thicker overall, but it's the same texture. It's the same curl pattern, but a different texture, if that makes sense. And that's the same with pretty much every single hair type. Like, I've seen the same hair type. Some people have fine hair that breaks off easily, and some people have coarse hair, which I believe can withstand more manipulation. How often do you trim your ends? So like I said, I had my hair cut in October. They cut off at least 4 inches. Prior to that, 2 weeks before, I had had a trim. They cut off about 1 or 2 inches, so I probably didn't need a haircut. I just figured since I was in New York, might as well let Anthony Dickey give me a nice haircut. Since then, he recommended that you should get your hair cut every 3 months. So the last time I got a trim, not a haircut, a trim, every 3 months. So I got my hair straightened in the middle of December, almost 3 months after I got my hair cut. And they literally only trimmed off about this much, which works for me because I used to only trim my hair once every 6 months. And after 6 months, my ends would be really bad. I'd have split ends that I had always had to cut off at least this much. So cutting off less than 1/4 of an inch twice in 6 months is much better than cutting off inches after 6 months. And it really does help from, it does help for length retention because your ends aren't minutely breaking off. People who are scared about flat ironing their hair, I would definitely suggest, if you're scared to do it yourself, go to a salon that specializes in natural hair, and that way you can learn from them the proper steps that you should take to make sure that your hair is going to revert back to its natural curl pattern after, and so that you don't sustain heat damage. Also, since coloring my hair, since they taught me a new technique for doing wash and goes, I've been wearing a lot more wash and goes after I colored my hair, which means that I wash my hair sometimes even twice a week. So I think that that does help, adding more moisture in my hair, the fact that I'm washing and conditioning my hair more often and making sure that it's hydrated. And I really wish that I had known how to do the technique that they used for the wash and go when I had black hair, because it would have been awesome. Yeah, I just started experimenting with wash and goes last summer, and I had no idea what I was doing. So I can show you a clip for my best wash and go ever video, and you can see the progression of the different wash and goes that I've done so far. And once I learned how to do them, once I learned the technique that worked for my hair type, you can really tell the difference. How do you nourish your hair while it's straight? When I had my hair straight in December, it lasted about 15 days. It could have lasted longer, but after 15 days, I was just tired of having straight hair. Actually, I think the last day I kept it straight was New Year's Eve, so I definitely sweated out my roots, so by then I was just like, I'm done. I didn't re-flat iron my hair at all in that 2-week period. I did curl my hair maybe 2 or 3 times, but that's about it. I just added oil on my hair to keep it moisturized. Somebody asked, when you straighten your hair, what temperature on the flat iron do you use? And the last time I straightened my hair, they set the flat iron at a temperature of 370 degrees. Another person asked, how do I get my hair so straight? I'll definitely put the link in the video so you can see how the Heatiful Salon created such sleek hair for me. How do you maintain your hair after straightening? The last time I had my hair straightened, I kept it straight for about 2 weeks. I did wrap it on some days, but I'm not going to lie, there were multiple nights where I didn't wrap it at all. I do sleep on a satin pillowcase, so that probably helps. I definitely went outside in the snow and got snowed on. My hair wasn't covered. Yeah, and it still held up. I never had to re-flat iron it. I would just add a few curls on the ends. But for the most part, even at the roots, it didn't puff up. How do you keep your hair healthy after color? You just want to make sure that you're taking all the same steps that you did before you colored your hair. So I'm hoping that most people who are going to color their hair have already been taking care of their hair prior to coloring your hair. So there won't be very many, nothing should really change. But if you haven't been taking care of your hair and you want to try color in the future, I definitely recommend washing your hair, depending on your hair texture and type, once a week, and deep conditioning every time you wash your hair. Oils also help seal in the moisture, and putting different daily moisturizers in your hair helps as well. And I know you guys are going to ask me, what are the products that I use, what are the brands? I honestly have hundreds of products, and actually I just did some spring cleaning yesterday, and I probably threw out about 1/3 of my hair products because I just have so many. I use ones and either they don't work for my hair or they're all pretty much the same. So right now I'm just using all the different products that I have. I don't have one thing that's my favorite. I have experimented with a lot of different products, and for the most part, for my wash and goes, the olive oil Eco Styler Gel works the best for me, and if I layer it with oil on underneath it, then my hair isn't as crunchy and dry afterwards. But any other type of styler products or any other type of natural flaxseed gel or Kiki Curly curling souffle, anything like that, it all pretty much makes my hair look like day 2 or 3, like day 2 or 3 hair when I do an Eco Styler wash and go. So they pretty much all have the same hold and effect on my hair. People talk about their hair being even more dry with color. How do you prevent that so it continues to grow? Regardless of what you're doing to your hair is going to grow. Now, whether you're going to be able to maintain the length and not have it breaking off, that's a completely different story. But whether you dye your hair, you don't dye your hair is going to keep growing. I have about, I don't even know, I should measure it, at least a couple inches of black hair since October. probably almost 3 inches. A lot of times I like to sit under my steamer to add moisture to my hair, and that also makes the deep conditioner penetrate a lot better as well. And even when I'm doing wash and goes to revive my style or other styles, if I want to achieve bigger hair, I also will either use the steam from when I'm taking a shower to add moisture back into my hair, or I also have a handheld steamer from Q Redu, and I like to use that to infuse moisture back into my hair. How do you keep your hair from breaking? One of the best ways to keep your hair from breaking is to not comb it while dry. Like, you should definitely do it when it's soaking wet with conditioner, because that way you'll be able to detangle much easier. The most breakage I ever get is when I'm not taking my time detangling, or if I don't put enough conditioner on my hair. I use at least 5 pumps per section, and I usually wash my hair in at least 4 to 6 sections. I have very thin hair and it's kind of brittle. I want highlights, but I'm scared it will break all my hair off. Am I being paranoid? If your hair is not in a healthy state, I would not recommend dyeing your hair. It's that simple. I think I asked on a previous post if you experience breakage. Since you and Taryn use the same colorist, and she ended up going back dark due to breakage. This is another thing that also bugs me when people try to say that once they color their hair or lighten their hair and then they dye it black to make it healthier, putting more dye in your hair is not going to make it healthier. The only thing putting a darker color on lighter hair might do is make it not look as dry, if that was like an issue that you were having, because it's a darker color. But as far as the health of your hair, putting layers and layers of dye on your hair is not going to make it any healthier. Does the color dry out your hair? Depending on your hair texture, porosity, all those types of things, it can be drying to your hair. I haven't had any issues with it. Like I said, I wash my hair at least once or twice a week and deep condition every week. And when my hair does feel dry, then I'll definitely put on a moisturizer or add some oil. What do you feel about protective styling, and how often do you do it? I think protective styling is a great option for length retention, and I usually do it a few times a year. About a month ago I had in faux locks. I kept them in for about 4 weeks. Yeah, protective stylings really do help with length retention if that's an issue that you're struggling with, because it's low manipulation. You're not styling your hair every day. You don't have to detangle it every day, so you're not having your ends break off. I hope this answered most of your questions, and if you're thinking about coloring your hair, I wouldn't base your decision on anyone else besides yourself, and I would definitely do a consultation first so that the stylist can assess the health of your hair and if that's a good decision that you should go with. Because everyone's hair is different, so you can't just look at me and see what I do and decide, hey, that's what I'm going to do, and then your hair doesn't turn out the same way, because we don't have the same hair.